Good evening, Blue Otter fans. You're here for another week of Gold League action. This week we've got CB Ibiza versus New World Esports Mercury. Once
Oh, that
again,
is that is one hell of a name. I love it.
oh yeah, I am Jeeves on the mic this week with Becky.
Yeah, hello. I am Becky Rita. I don't have a lot to say about myself. So let's just get moving on to what we want to talk about, which is these exciting games we got ahead of us. Two teams battling it out on the Rift. Uh, I will say, not familiar with these two teams' history in this league or against each other, because I haven't really been following this particular league. But I'm sure you have all that information, and you can help weave the story here for what we're looking at today.
So we've got this should be an absolute banger of a match because these two are fighting for the top of the division. Uh,
Ho ho
I would say they've
ho!
looked like the best. Um, I'm drawing a blank on which division it is because I forget the names. Um, but yeah, they've looked absolutely phenomenal. NWE uh, faltered a little bit during the midseason tournament, but they were playing more for fun. And that is the last time I saw them, but they have been an absolute menace ever since then and before that.
Okay, okay, a menace, a menace. We like to see it. And the other roster, I am actually looking for stats that I can use. Uh, I do not know if you happen to have those or if anybody would like to share that information. But hey, you know what? I do think just when you have this sort of really this high table team match. These are two teams who are fighting it out, and this close to the end of the season, assuming it follows the same format as the Plat League. This close to the end of the season, getting to the top is really important. Being number one or even number two, just securing safety going into playoffs and making sure there's not even a slim chance of you getting knocked down or getting or losing any potential advantages from being in the top seeds. It's important that both of these teams are on their top game and don't try and troll this. Even if they want to. Even if they want to troll it, they ought to stick to their guns, stick to what they know works, and just get it rolling from there.
And we have a super interesting set of picks coming out from Ibiza so far. The
Oh,
last time we had them
oh.
on stream, they played very enchanter heavy. They ran multiple moonstones and generally had two carry champions.
Well, I will say now that I did not realize draft had started, but I'm looking at it now, and hoo boy. It's a good thing I'm here today because I'm actually a Sona main. So I am very familiar with a lot of her matchups in the bot lane. And if she ends up going, she could go other lanes, probably not in a solo lane. It hasn't been very good in a while. But, I am very familiar with this champion. And Sona Ash is an incredibly oppressive duo. But Seraphine Aphelios is really good. It depends on the Aphelios pilot here in
Yep.
this matchup, how it goes between the two of them, because there's a lot of poke that Ash and Sona can do if they work together. But Seraphine's very self-sufficient, and Aphelios is also pretty self-sufficient. So if they're just, it comes down to the pilots of the other side. But Ash and Sona work really well together.
Yeah. Ibiza was the one last time we saw them. They drafted the Seraphine and they ended up flexing it into mid for Chitin. I
Nice.
don't see Sona being as much of a. I think Riot
No, her
doesn't
her
like
her
her in
mid
a
lane
solo
her mid
lane.
lane is atrocious. She has negative wave clear. I believe she actually makes minions spawn. That's how bad her wave clear is. It is atrocious. If she's in a solo lane, something's gone horribly wrong. But we see the rest of the bands come out. A lot of top lane focus here, as those are the top and mid roles are still very open for both teams. Granted, this could be a Seraphine flux into the mid lane for Mercury. We see the Volibear picked up. That is still like Hecker and Volibear still technically a flex between the two of them. Kale is getting hovered here. This is a bold blind pick if this, or I guess it's not actually blind, but this is a bold pick into either of these two top laners here. because they are both very aggressive. And if the Hecarim or the Volibear decides to jungle camp, okay, that's much safer. That is a
Yeah.
much safer option. Kale was a bit too greedy, a bit too ambitious. Gnar, better in the front line, better at keeping distance from the Volibear. Even if you're a little squishy in ranged form, you just have to kite back. And Silas has a lot of good ultimates to pick up.
Ooh. The Silas is a spicy pickup. I don't know. Do you know how he interacts with Aphelios? Does it
Um,
choose
it
which guns he
Yeah, it's
gets?
what I believe it's whatever gun he has active when he yanks the ultimate. So if
Okay.
he yanks if Aphelios has slow gun active, he will yank the slow whatever the slow ultimate is. Gravitum. That's the name of the guns.
Gotcha.
You know, Aphelios has been in the game for how long? I don't know. I only know the name of the guns from Legends of Runeterra. Cassiopeia rounds out the comp here, and I think with the Seraphine support is fantastic because Seraphine gives Cassiopeia a little more, you know, a little more movement speed, a little
Yeah.
extra utility from CC. They work so well as the mid support in a mid support duo, and their ultimates also work really well together. You get the Seraphine to lock them up, you have them all run towards you, then you just hit them with the Cassio ultimate. It is fantastic if they can line that up. And the Hecarim as well, there are just so many great team fighting ultimates here on Mercury. If they can layer their CC properly, it is going to be so hard for Ibiza to even try and fight these, especially in tight corridors. But Ibiza also has access to all those great ultimates because they have Silas. And then they
Yeah.
also have the Crescendo. They have the Meganar. They have Enchanted Crystal Arrow to start fights. And that I think is it's a very solid comp, but the Wombo combo potential from Mercury is just so powerful.
I think the big asterisk, the mystery for me with this Ibiza comp is the Udyr. Um, I think they took away the Ash because Ash is truly atrocious to play into his Udyr.
Yeah,
Um,
a little bit, just a
it's
little
also
bit.
like a very strong lane, but the Udyr just I don't see what the Udyr brings to the comp.
Nothing. That's what the Udyr brings to the comp. Quite frankly, it really seems like they blind picked it maybe for comfort, and then they just kind of drafted themselves into a corner here because otherwise, it's just the Udyr just feels like just definitely feels out of place. You would rather have a different jungler in the spot, like should have maybe picked B1 the Hecarim or
Yep.
gone Trundle or something like that. Maybe not necessarily better than the Udyr in terms of the raw, I guess, team fighting potential. Granted, Udyr's not even good at that. What is Udyr good at? Running at people. At the very least, Ash will slow them for Udyr to catch up, and Sona can speed up Udyr. That E movement speed gets crazy as the game goes on, and is great at enabling Udyr to actually get onto backline targets that maybe he wouldn't be able to. And Udyr might not even have to go Chemtech. He probably should, but he might not have to actually get onto these backline threats because Sona just enables him so well. So I guess that's how it works together. But overall, with the Gnar and the Silas, it just feels like he's part of a different draft, and he got isekai'd into this one. So don't know how it's going to turn out for that. How are you feeling looking at these two drafts? Which team has the edge going into the game here?
I really, really like this draft from Mercury. I think the wombo in team fights between the with the three-way lockdown with the Aphelios Gravitum ult, the Seraphine ult, the Cassio ult. You could even layer in a Hecarim ult. It feels like just they have all the tools they could possibly need in a team fight. And just the hyper carries of Aphelios and Cassiopeia are going to dish out all the
Mhm.
damage they could ask for. Um, Ibiza has a lot of good tools and they have a lot of champions that can get stuff done. Like Silas is such a crazy strong champion when he gets ahead, and I know Chitin. I have learned to never doubt Chitin when
Oh,
he's on the
okay.
map.
Okay, never doubt Chitin. Well then, I do just think that the comp out here by Mercury is just so good. It is just the only like hard spots in terms of how it is going to go is if Boogie can pilot the Aphelios, because you have to
Yep.
consider these aren't pro players. These are, this is the Gold League. And while I'm not saying that gold players can't be good as Aphelios, he is a very mechanically demanding champion. And if you lose track of what guns you're on, or what guns are coming up, or what you need to have for the upcoming team fight, you could be caught with a terrible combination of guns and just completely lose that DPS that your team needs. The very least, they have Cassio to cover it up, and even Hecker and Volibear can do quite a bit of damage on their own. But it is a lot of it. I feel with Mercury's comp, the part where it could falter is if Aphelios can't perform the hyper carry duties needed. But I think overall this team comp is just so much better that it's not going to make that much of a difference.
Yeah, absolutely agree. I think there's definitely a reason why I don't see much of Felios casting gold.
Hmm.
There's a lot higher burden of execution. I'm really curious. It must be a player preference, just comfort thing. Why with a champion like Jinx Open, who's still super strong after even after the nerfs, like Jinx just went right through, and they both went for different picks.
Hmm.
But I love seeing Aphelios. I think the champion is super strong. So I'm curious to see how Boogie performs.
Yeah, we will have to see indeed. Well, we were going to go ahead and take a quick break. When we come back, we will be in the match between CB Ibiza and NWE Mercury. Stick around because we're going to see the results of whether the draft if actually matters after the break.
Welcome back from break, everyone. We are loaded into game, and the teams are on the riff. Like we are getting some 5-point action.
Oh yeah, a 5-point line of scrimmage. You do like to see this. Everybody's looking at their lane opponent, flashing mastery, doing a little bit of early game flexing. It feels good to do. Gotta let them know who you are and what they should represent. Damn one. All right, we see the Ramus. Okay, very good. Looking at the runes and masteries here, not a whole lot really stands out to me. The press the attack of Felios, I guess, is a bit odd, but it would make sense that he goes it right now. Uh, just based on what the champion needs to do in lane. I wouldn't personally do it, but I can see it working. Another thing that I think is a bit odd is actually the lethal tempo Udyr. This
Yeah,
indicates that there may be a little bit more greed from this Udyr build, and that's a bit interesting. Not necessarily sure if that will be the case. Granted, there aren't a lot of other great options for the Udyr. The phase rush is like okay, and the predator and like predators okay, glacials okay. Nothing's too great on him. So lethal tempo I think is fine, especially if he's going to be going for early aggression, because lethal tempo plus tiger stance is unbelievably absurd DPS if you
yeah.
can get it rolling onto people.
I am old enough to remember the joys of Triforce Udyr,
Ooh. Oh,
and
don't. Oh,
I would be
yes.
really excited to see that.
Oh, that would be spicy. Don't necessarily know if it will be brought out here, but could happen. We could see the true classic Trick 2G D Gates Udyr that we've been waiting for all this time, instead of this like pansy team fight Udyr who just runs at the back line trying to stun them and be helpful. No, split push, buddy. Just kill him with stats. Stat check him. That's the real gaming. But yeah, so far, not a whole lot across the map here. Casio did end up starting with the tier, which is it's pretty fine. Not you could go the corrupting potion or even just going the Doran's ring, but I think starting the tier is just a safer option. She's very mana hungry, and it gets her rolling a lot faster than waiting for that first recall and hoping you don't get slammed in the meantime. Anything that you are noticing in particular with what we are looking at here in this game?
For a second there, I couldn't see items, but I finally got them all up on
Yeah,
my screen.
good.
The Aphelios, or not the Aphelios, the Silas getting the level 2 all in. Look
Ooh.
really good so far. Nice root onto Sono. Not too
Oh,
much damage.
that is a lot of damage.
Yeah, Dolo taking a bad trade there.
Yeah, no, that's the potential of this Ashe Sona lane, because they just deal so much damage. The volley allows Sona to safely get in range to go for the Q auto attack, and you can hardly respond because you're also very slow from the Ashe. So Sona's biggest weakness, which is not being able to disengage early on,
Nice
okay,
all
this is gonna
in
be a
top
dive.
lane. Nar is getting jumped. Hecarim's there, but doesn't even have to flash.
Yeah, no flash, just hopping out. Little bit dicey there. Good presence there from Proto to hang around and wait for a potential jump right there. But Kobita is on the Gnar, very safe right there. Does still have the flash as well, so gonna just stay alive, although this wave is pushing in. And it's gonna be really rough to be pinned under tower by the Volibear.
Thankfully, Kaler is going back, so Kobita is not in danger of getting dived when the wave crashes. But it's good to see Protomorph really abusing the early strength and sticking it to Kobita while
Mhm.
before Nar gets items and gets to that really gross oppressive place.
Yeah, and also taking advantage of the distance between Mini Gnar and Mega Gnar. He was in yellow, so he was pretty close, but he was still going to need a few auto attacks, hitting a boomerang, even landing the hop to Big Gnar. And as a result, you can just jump on him. He is super he's basically an 80 carry in the early game on Mini Gnar. He is super easy to exploit if you can actually take advantage of. We have a trade in the mid lane.
The dash in from Silas goes for the autos, but now Kingo's trading back, gets the Conqueror proc, or walking away.
Yeah, we're disengaging that one. Chitin going for a trade doesn't quite go in his favor. Missing the big burst from the chains. Combo not maybe just not connecting as planned, but otherwise not too bad because he does still have the refillable proc. He still has a top pop of that. We do have a bit of a trade down here. Root doesn't land quite yet. Hecarim maybe looking to try and gank.
The other big objective on the map right now, or really the big objective on the map right
wait.
now, feels like, flash in from Chitin, but Kaler is there, and Chitin ends up getting first blood onto Kingo before Kaler gets the revenge kill.
Yeah, and that was oh wait, this trade could go bad.
Ooh.
Never mind. Okay, we're fine. It's fine. Sona's okay. It's fine.
Aphelios with the short range guns couldn't get the kill on Sona without going on.
Yeah, not quite enough range from either the Aphelios or the Seraphine to finish that one off. But off in the mid lane, that fight was actually pretty crazy and well played from both players. Chitin using the flash to dodge the Petrifying Gaze and make sure to secure a bit more damage onto there. Although he does end up going down to the gank from Kaler, being able to pick a 1-up there when it could have been a disastrous play, you know, losing the flash in that fight and then not even getting the kill, picking up the first blood. You have to say that feels pretty good for Chitin, and he's got to feel good about himself.
Another dive in, and this time I praise God is there, but Kingo gets the better of it.
Yeah, the trades from Cassio, they can get pretty disgusting. When she does have the blasting wand, actually, that was her pickup on one of these recalls here. Blasting Wand and Doran's Ring. Because she doesn't have to buy boots, that is just 300 extra gold to put into whatever she feels like it. You know, that's one of the advantages of playing Cassio over, or I guess maybe not necessarily advantages, but it's one of those things that Cassio is able to do. It's nice. It's nothing you really don't think about a lot while you're playing the champion. It's like, oh, I don't have to spend 300 gold on literally movement speed. I can use that on towards an item or something to allow me to hit a power spike faster. And going for this early blasting wand is going to give her a bit more DPS than maybe Chitin would be expecting. Hecarim's hanging around the bot side, potentially looking for a dive at some point, but he's just going to back out here. There's a lot of vision around the bot side of the map, so he would not have been able to get one off anyways.
Especially without the Ghost, since that's on cooldown. He does have the Onslaught of Shadows, but that would have been rough without some really nice CC layering coming out of the bot lane. And probably they're looking for the right guns on Aphelios to pull that off too.
That is true, yeah. You don't want to be going into a fight with an Aphelios who has just horrendous guns. Kobita getting dove on.
All in from Protomorph. The ult comes in from Volibear, but the Stormbringer damage isn't enough.
We see a dive.
Oh, flash in under the turret in the combo. Kobita goes down.
Yeah, just a slam chop from Volibear. He has the Sheen right now. This is a Sheen on Volibear. Very excellent stuff. We have a gank.
Oh, there's the Sona ult, the crescendo, locks down Dolo, and now I Praise God is in there, slapping people in bear stance, and Dolo goes down.
Yeah, and Boogie's going to try and trade back a little bit, and does get some decent damage onto Waka, but, you know, Waka did not actually bring the Blitz Ball to this one, so unable to trade back efficiently with the opponent, but does not need to, because I Praise God came in, slapped them up, showed them the power of right-clicking as Udyr. Getting good kills right there, and I do have to say, the double up there with the two ultimates from Ashe and Sona. We do have a dive.
Getting a dive. Blue Smite comes in. There's the Aphelios ult. Udyr's tanking up turret and gets out, and Waka gets the kill.
Yeah, okay, now we're getting a little bit of money onto the Sona. This is actually not a bad thing. Of all the supports to get random kills, Sona benefits the most, because what I like to say about Sona is that she is a hyper carry support. You know, the more money she has, the more she can put towards items. And those items are, like, if she can afford to go, like, tier, or getting to her Moonstone before the opponent, she just gets insanely strong, insanely fast. And getting a random kill on the Sona does have to feel a little bit good, but Good dive, just a solid dive right there. The Moonlight Vigil doesn't quite hit onto anyone, just rams into the Udyr point blank, so not getting that damage onto the backline just really hurt Boogie's chances of even trying to trade one back there. He was guaranteed dead anyways from that dive, but it is unfortunate he wasn't able to get something back.
And that was, like, I feel like Adishon was barely even there. Like, obviously contributed, getting the slow, got the assists, but the Enchanted Crystal Arrow didn't even come out. And that's a massive tool that it was just the base damage
it was
coming
used,
out from I Praise God.
Yeah, it was used in the fight earlier, actually. It was fired out to start the engage that happened when I Praise God walked in. Then it was followed up by a crescendo, and then I Praise God just ran in and slapped people. So
Gotcha.
it was a little bit of a long range engage. Kaler maybe looking for something himself.
Waka with the flash out.
You know, I would be scared too. He put a ward in the bush, saw the angriest horse on record, just starting to charge up, you know, clop, just trampling the hooves on the ground menacingly. It's like, okay, you know what? Never mind. I don't want to be here. I'm good. I would flash too. I Praise God, looking for another gank.
The Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes down. The crescendo is just wide, but the encore gets two. Dolo goes down to Adishon, and now there's the onslaught of shadows. The ghost comes in, and Kaler's running amok. I Praise God is deep, and the health bar is going low. Boogie gets his first kill, and now they're running it, and just playing with the ranges, and Kingo joins the fight just to be safe.
Yeah, Kingo arriving will deter Adishon and Adishon and Waka from attempting to get anything further from that, but the crescendo going wide there really hurt the CC chain. It was just short. Gotta respect those ranges. Chitin is down here.
Chitin gets the onslaught of shadows, but's grounded, and so the flash in goes for Boogie. Gets the combo, but he's getting kited out. The Everfrost gets the kill, but now Adishon is facing Kingo. Does get killed, but Chitin gets a second kill.
Yeah, the airy shield from the Sona Q aura was just enough to keep Adishon alive long enough to get a couple more autos in and allow Chitin to just come in and clean it up without Waka being in threat of being taken down. And that is definitely good to see there. Cassio could have actually tore a hole through the team, even if she ended up going down in the end. But now Sylas is picking up the gold right here, and that is going to be really nice for the side of Ibiza if they can get the Sylas going.
Really interesting Herald drop. With no one being nearby, I don't know that anyone actually got the plate.
It would have gone over to whoever dropped the Herald. So it did go over to someone, maybe not enough people. Kaler looking for a fight.
Oh, a nice three-man route by Dolo, and CBI is chasing down Boogie. Chitin gets the kill with the chains. They are disengaging.
Yeah, Chowster over there. Who's old enough to remember Chowster? That was an excellent Sona ultimate. Really, it was good music, you know, gotta say. Big fan of Sona's work. That crescendo did whiff a little bit. That is unfortunate. Likely expecting them to move forward, being in a different parallel universe, and the QPUs were not aligned and just wasting that cooldown. Fortunately, it's not too long. One of the benefits of playing Sona is that with her passive that they had changed actually earlier on in the season, she is just able to get her ultimate down. Oh, we have maybe a trade, potentially a dive.
The Stormbringer is on cooldown, so Void doesn't have too much, but Chitin's going in. The Everfrost locks up Cassio. The Sylas steal on the Cassio ult, and Chitin goes on a rampage, and now Kaler's running for the hills.
Yeah, Waka walking in for moral support. You know, saying hello, playing a little song. Did not end up actually getting the assist on that, which is a bit unfortunate, but just really good play from Chitin. Getting the dash in, knowing the ranges to avoid Cassio's, you know, Cassio's miasma, and staying out of those really dangerous spots, stealing the ultimate, did not land the stun off of it, but the slow was enough with the Everfrost to just get a ton of damage out here. And because the Sylas is so far ahead, Everfrost on its own is going to be enough to take down Cassio.
Yeah, and Chitin's going back with only 950, so that's not super impactful, but that Dark Seal is starting to stack up.
Yeah, Darksteel stacking up. We'll have to see if it becomes a full-fledged Magi's. We do have a gank
Oh,
here. I
here's
praise
a ganking
God.
top. I praise God gets the blue smite, is tanking up turret. Meganar goes into the wall, and yeah, Protomorph gets taken out.
Yeah, Kaler does show up with the ghost, but a little too late on that. Good, good fear. Good, actually good from both players to keep an eye on Kobita's Rage Gauge and make use of it the
Oh,
most
Titan's
in
going
that
in
fight. We have an
again.
Enchanted
The
Crystal Arrow
Cassio ult
collapsing.
hits. Enchanted Crystal Arrow finds its mark, and Chitin is just slowly autoing down Kingo.
Slapping him with the chains, just thwacking him with it. Unbelievable stuff right there. Great ultimate from Adishon. Granted, was just fired down the mid lane. If it hit anyone, that would have been fine, but hitting it there when it was so important for that fight just worked so well. And I wouldn't be surprised if they had even called for it, actually, for Chitin to go for an engage, keep Cassio interested, and then suddenly, boom, Enchanted Crystal Arrow, and you're done. You're stunned for like 4 seconds. There's no hope for you.
And the timing was just like, there's no way they could have planned how perfect that timing was. As the petrifying gaze came out and Chitin was stunned, that's exactly when the Enchanted Crystal Arrow hit, so Cassio didn't have the chance to just crap out tons of damage.
Yeah. It's just didn't have those, just didn't have the opportunities needed to finish the job there, but it is all right. Gold currently nearly 4K in the favor of Ibiza here. Silas 6-1-0 with a 600 gold shutdown on his head. That is a juicy pickup for whoever can claim it. There actually are objective bounties on the table as well on these outer turrets and on the dragon. When it spawns in the next minute here, it'll be an Ocean Drake. We haven't enchanted it. Crystal Arrow just, that was a threat that, yeah. Nice. The plan there was obviously stun him up, finish the turret, but they just didn't have enough damage. And
Yeah.
maybe Sona should have, I guess Sona maybe could have been spamming more abilities, getting more power chords, but I don't know. Q power chord does actually boost your damage onto turrets as well, but it's fine. That's like the Crescendo. Enchanted Crystal Arrow is not the longest cooldown in the world, and they aren't going to need it for like emergency situations. So they can just wait for it to come off cooldown to take. Oh, all right. Good job, minions.
Minions get it anyways.
Yeah, can we promote that minion? He did great. Great work.
Really interestingly, oh, all right, Kaylee's gonna regret that E, having to Onslaught of Shadows to get out, but does dodge the Crescendo from Waka.
Yeah, Waka firing these crescendos like they're going out of style, just not landing them where they need to, and whiffing this cooldown. The crescendo isn't a cooldown you can use in emergency situations, so losing it for these fights, especially with the dragon fight here, could have been bad, but they are actually not going to try and contest it, so there is no fight to really worry about. Kobita is going to end up being a fight himself.
Oh, there's the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, and Dolo flashes out of it.
Dolo flashes the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Top side, there was a solo kill where Protomorph just ran on to Mininar and killed him dead. Not really a whole lot to say there. The base damages from the Volibear are just so high. And we actually see the Sunder Gnar coming in here. Gnar builds are a bit contentious right now. I know some people still like the Sunderer, but other people have been going like Triforce on Gnar, going like Triforce Sterox, and that Triforce Sterox Hullbreaker, and that 3-item combo makes you nigh unkillable. The Sunderer's okay. It plays well into the Volibear and the Hecarim, who is going a bit tankier, but I guess it's fine. Overall, the rest of the team is winning, so as long as Kobita doesn't give over a whole bunch of gold to Protomorph, it's definitely not the end of the world, and this Mega Gnar will still be useful in fights.
Yeah, the Mega Gnar brings so much to the table. It's one of the reasons why Gnar, even though it's picked to be more oppressive in lane as a ranged champion, it brings so much to team fights.
Yeah, it'll bring that for sure. Chitin maybe going to get dove on here.
And on Protomorph, gets the full combo, the Everfrost with the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, but Yeah, the teleport from Kingo scares them from diving.
They could have taken that. I feel like they could have taken that. The teleport would come in, but that would just be Cassio. If they were all together on it, maybe they could have actually killed Paramorph there. It is a safe play just to not take it, but he was going to be CC'd long enough, and they still had the crescendo in their pockets. So that could have been another play. Might have not been able to get there in time, but could have been a kill. But you know what? Rather just not take a kill than randomly lose 4 people and give the game back over to your opponents.
Yep. And it's only a 4,000 gold, not even 4,000 gold lead. So it's still very much within the grasp, especially with the bounties up. They've taken 1 turret so far, so they've made up some of the gold. It's still a very close game, I feel like.
Yeah, and actually the gold lead has sort of shortened a bit, picking up the bounty in the mid lane on that outer turret gave them a bit of a cash influx, which they definitely needed going into the later stages of the game here. So they managed to tighten up the gold difference a little bit, down to only 3,000 from the 4,000 it was before. But overall, they're slowing down the game, and that's kind of what they need. Kaler maybe in a bit of danger? No. Okay. Well, that's fine. That's okay. They did. Gromp was taken by those thieves.
He zigged when they thought they were going to zag, and so the Enchanted Crystal Arrow went way wide.
Look, Enchanted Crystal Arrow misses more than it hits. That's what I like to think. You should feel grateful when it lands. You know, it is an ability that is very hard to land from long range because it's a very slow projectile. This is not like Jinx Rocket where it's at like lightning speed and you have to actually be paying attention to dodge it. No, it gently careens across your screen. And it's not the most dangerous ultimate in the game if you see it coming, but you land it, and oh boy, you're stunned for an hour. It feels awful. And that would have been a kill, but hey, you know, like I said earlier, it's a very short cooldown, so don't mind them just firing it out when they think they have a chance.
Like we are getting a lot of posturing with 1 minute left till this ocean dragon spawns.
Yeah, a lot of posturing for sure. We do have cooldowns up on the side of NWE. We have the flash on the Volibear. We have the ghost on... Oh, we have a fight!
Oh, Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes in and Dolo gets taken out instantly. Now Hecarim has to Onslaught of Shadows out, and I Praise God is on the other side of the fight. Chitin gets another kill, and now Kaler is running for it, but has Udyr chasing him down. Protomorph is trying to get back to base, but is in the middle of the CB team. Kingo's trying to hide under turret, and Protomorph gets caught. There's Kobita, there's the Meganar, but the damage from
who's
Protomorph,
catching who?
Yeah, Kingo does go down, but this Volibear is doing so much damage, healing through all of it. There is not a lot of grievous wounds on CB. There's no grievous wounds on CB. But Protomorph does eventually go down.
Yeah, that Volibear is massive, actually. You wouldn't think it just looking at his items. You're like, oh, okay, he's a 2-item Volibear. How scary could it be? And then he claps like 3 of your players. And it's like, hey, wait a minute. I thought we were winning. What's going on, guys? Sona has to flash to get a heal on to her ally there, wasting a very important cooldown for this immobile support, making her an easy target. Speaking of targets,
it's an Enchanted Crystal Arrow landing onto Kaler. They're diving in. I Praise God is chasing him down, but Hecarim is too fast for that.
Yeah, in the pregame we were talking about the ease of execution of the hit R comp from the side of NWE. But I guess we didn't respect the power and the pick potential of the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Adashan is finding incredible opportunities to fire this cooldown, and the rest of the team is on the same page. They're layering the CC that they have and making the most of it. When they find somebody, that person is deader than dead. They get deleted from this realm of existence. That is how strong their pick power is. And making these fights 4v5, it turns the maybe lack of team fight power from the side, or less good team fight power from the side of CBV, into something that is just needs to be respected, because NWE is getting bounced in these fights, and they really maybe shouldn't be.
And importantly, that Volibear that was already so strong in that fight did pick up the 1,000 gold shutdown onto Chitin. So, like, the rich get richer, and the Volibear problem's only getting worse.
Yeah, the Volibear problem is going to get worse here. Fortunately, they do have the Ashe as a tank shredder. She's one of the better ones in the game. Not quite as good as hyper carries like the Aphelios or the Jinx, or even especially like Kog'Maw. But with items, she will be able to tear through this Volibear. At least for a little bit. Once he picks up some more armor, it's going to be harder for her to do that, but she also still needs to actually complete some items here. She is sitting on 2.5, so at least a bit ahead of her counterpart on the other side of the rift, but without the armor shred, like from Lord Doms, she's going to be a little far behind in terms of actually doing what they need to do. Enchanted Crystalero coming up.
Oh, flash out from Kingo. Oh, and now Kaler ghosts in. We've got a fight in bot lane as well as Protomorph goes in with the Stormbreaker. Kobita is jumping away. Mega Gnar transformation comes out, and Protomorph is walking away.
Yeah, Protomorph just walking away from that one, getting quite a bit of damage on the Kobita though. Fortunately, being able to go big means that Gnar stays safe for the time being, but Protomorph can just keep looking for these engages. However, he may be a little too far forward because Ashe and Sona are on their way.
Kobita is kiting backwards. Ashe and Sona show up. Adishan gets the slow with the volley. The word's in there, and Waka ends up getting the kill.
There we go. More money for the Sona. Getting that Putrefier is huge on this champion because she is able to heal and shield literally everyone. This is why items like Ardent or Staff of Flowing Water or especially Putrefier are so good on the Sona. And it's also why we don't see any healing reduction on the other members, because she can just apply the Putrefier proc to everyone on her team with all three of her abilities. It is crazy how good the Putrefier is in terms of value here, and Sona has to be getting close here, maybe like 400, 500 gold off of actually finishing the item, and that is going to be a huge pickup. And honestly, maybe I just because I'm a Sona simp, and I will admit that I am, because I'm proud of it. But I love watching Sona get these kills. She's a fantastic support to get these kills. I'd rather they go on Sona than Ashe, to be honest.
I mean, Adishan's doing their job perfectly, even with a 1-1-8 scoreline. So the gold is getting work done.
Yeah, making the most of that gold. The utility support, with the utility 80 carry with the utility support, going for a potential. No, okay. They were just. Oh wait, Chitin may have found something.
Chitin wanted Dolo, and the Enchanted Crystal Arrow flies through.
We have the Encore getting stolen.
Encore gets dodged out, and then the Silas Encore catches Boogie. The Everfrost catches him too. But now
Gnar.
Boogie has the fantastic guns, but Mega Gnar into the wall catches a double. And that looked like a super even fight at first, but CBI showed up huge. Kobita making his presence known.
Yeah, Kobita getting a fantastic shovel into the wall there. And they may be looking to just try and end the game here. Death timers are still rather long, and they have all of their teammates up.
Well, the Stormbringer comes in. They're going for I Praise God, but Chitin's in there now. And Protomorph is trying to run away. Gnar is jumping through. I Praise God gets the kill, and now they've got a minion wave here, and they're going for Nexus turret number 2. 29 minutes, and that looks like that is game number 1.
Yeah, game number 1 going to the side of CBI. Maybe against our expectations there. We saw the drafts and we're like, oh, this draft is going to work so well for the side of NWE. But like you said, you have to believe in Chitin. And, you know, Chitin did exactly what he needed to do. But also, I think that the Sona Ashe bot lane combo
Yep.
tore it up and neutralized the Aphelios from actually being able to play the game. And stopping this Aphelios champion is vital because as a hyper carry, he's going to get there. It's not a matter of if, it is a matter of when. Slowing him down as much as possible, like they did both literally and figuratively with the Ashe Sona combo, is exactly what they needed to do. They stopped the Aphelios, and then with Chitin getting a huge lead, and with I Praise God having great presence around the map and enabling the rest of the team, they were just able to prevent the NWE from actually getting a lead to utilize those great team fighting tools.
Is it just me, or did the end of the game feel kind of random? Like they were going back and forth. There were close fights, and then just one massive win. Like Kobita coming in, swinging that fight. They got a 3-for-0 fight, and it just suddenly the game ended. I was kind of expecting at least a little bit longer, but it
I mean,
was 29 and a
the
half minutes.
the only players who were still up were Protomorph and Kaler, and Protomorph was doing quite a bit of damage there, but they didn't have enough CC, and they didn't have
Yep.
enough bodies to actually stop the people who are shredding the tower, which is of course the Ashe and the Udyr. And even the Gnar as well in mini form can do a ton of damage to these towers. So they have great tower shredding power, and Sona enables that with her Q. And she also
True.
deals quite a bit of towers to quite a bit of damage to towers with Power Chord. So honestly, I actually can see how they had that end angle. I am glad they took it because
Yeah.
that is one of those things where that was a very risky end. Maybe if Protomorph had actually gotten on that backline, deleted the Ashe, and with Kaler taken out that backline, it would not have been an end, and they would have just been forced back, and maybe even given some more gold over to this Volibear, who was already starting to get oppressively strong. But fortunately, they find the angle, they know exactly how to end it, and they play it through. So great work from Ibiza in taking game one.
Yeah, fantastic end. And we are going to see if they can live up to that in game two. Don't go anywhere. We are going to throw it to a brief break while we get this lobby set up. Welcome back, folks. We are just getting into draft. In case you missed it, CB Ibiza took game one over NWE Mercury pretty cleanly. And so now we're getting into game two draft.
Yeah, we see actually some spicy bands coming out here. Maybe not spicy. Spicy is the wrong word. They are a bit unusual though. The Senna, Vagar, Lilia, and Vex all getting banned. The Ash is the adaptation here, banning that away from Ibiza, and the Zeri will get locked out of the game. So now Mercury has the first pick here. They need to consider they picked blue side, so they obviously have something they want to take on the blue side first pick. There's something they value here. I do not know what they're going to go for, but it's likely going to be that is not what I expected. All right, Caitlyn first pick. That was the priority selection here. Not
I,
I do. Caitlyn is a solid AD carry, but she is
yeah,
much better as a counter pick into certain other AD carries, like for example, shorter range AD carries like the Jinx, who you can just sort of pressure early on and slow their ramp through the game. But you also have to consider that your opponent, if they pick a hyperscaling AD carry, you are Caitlyn, you sort of plateau going into the mid to late game. So if you aren't able to stop them from doing stuff, you just get run over later in the game. She still deals a bit of damage, just not as much as other AD carries. Ibiza picking up the Udyr once again, and the Lux that could be flexed into a couple of different roles, but these are a couple interesting picks.
I like Lux takeaway so that NWE can't run Caitlyn Lux as a bot lane because the double range feels super. It can shut out a lot of other bot lane compositions. NWE could just take Morgana and do very similar things just without the final spark spice added on to the combo.
Mhm.
But instead we've got a Nocturne.
Yeah, Nocturne getting picked up as the response in to the Udyr. I actually do think that is fine. Nocturne
Yeah.
is great at pressuring. Once he hits six, he can just make the game his own. And with with an aggressive top laner or mid laner, just kill the opponent on repeat and get them snowballing. And plus, he is a very good duelist and can actually match up against the Udyr. We see the Karma, a great pair with the Lux, or a great pair with the Caitlyn. If you can't get something like the Morgana or the Lux, or if the Morgana is not looking like a great pick, Karma works great as well. You are looking to bully that lane. You are looking to make it the least fun possible for the opponents. And the Xayah gets picked into the Caitlyn. Not a big fan of getting picked into Caitlyn, but I guess there aren't a whole lot of great options in terms of actually beats Caitlyn in the early game, aside from like Aphelios, or uh, yeah, it's Wukong
Yeah.
getting banned here. Illaoi, just a lot of target bans once again towards top lane as they're both hiding it.
Yeah, this is really similar to how draft went in the first game. Karma did get banned in game one, in the place of where the Ash was banned here. So
Okay.
I'm curious if that Karma is a flex into one of the solo lanes where she can be super obnoxious.
Yeah, it is possible that there will be a flex from the Karma, that she is less popular in solo lands right now, but she still it can be rather oppressive, and her damage still needs to be respected early on. Maybe if it
Yeah.
it does fall off, but that's fine. Ooh, Kennen is a bold option, but it leaves a very weak front line currently for Ibiza if it gets locked in just the Udyr, and it will get locked. Blind Kennen. Okay.
Going for a similar idea with the ranged Yordle top lane to harass out the opposition. And with Nar banned, they're similar conceptually, but you can see the big moments that Nar had, and even some of the sustain in lane that Nar had. That he got some of the safety from the Mega Nar form. Kennen just doesn't do that,
Mhm.
and I'm really curious to see how Kobita pulls this off.
Yeah, we'll have to see if it pulls through. The Jace, fantastic in the Kennen.
Yep.
It's a bit debated whether or not it's actually Jace favored, but every time I see it, Jace just plows into the Kennen, just smashes that stupid rat with a big hammer, and sends him back to Bandle City where he belongs. So definitely, I do like the Jace pickup into the Kennen. The Syndra, a safe blind pick, but the Echo is one of those responses, and it
Oh,
will get locked in. Very magic damage heavy from Ibiza,
yep.
and we'll have again two really unorthodox drafts. Granted, Mercury's is a bit more standard, but overall very spicy stuff.
Mercury has a very squishy comp. Aside from the Karma shields,
Yes.
they are looking to poke and stay at long range and not engage in anything unless the Ibiza team is low health already. Because I feel like the tools that Ibiza has for team fights between the Lux zoning and CC, the Kennen ult, Echo shields, and stuns. Ibiza, I feel like, has better team fight tools, but Mercury, if they can get ahead and just keep out of range, that's going to be a really frustrating try to run into.
Yeah, it is going to be very frustrating to have to run into that. But Ibiza did showcase that they definitely, I praise God, showcased that
Yep.
they know how to pilot this Udyr very effectively, finding great flanks, great angles, and just enabling the team to do well. With Udyr's very limited and binary strengths, utilizing those to their highest degree. The Ibiza comp is so, it feels so coin flippy. Like
Yep.
they're playing on a knife's edge, whereas Mercury is going for something a little safer and a little bit more consistent. The Ibiza is very much depending on either again a lot of honestly a lot of flanks. They're depending a lot on Echo and Kennen finding some great angles, while Lux and Zaya fight from the back and just try and provide support and allow the rest of the team to clean up. And of course, the Udyr will be playing Gatekeeper for the backline here. Two very squishy compositions, though.
Yep.
And it's if that's any indication, I feel like this is going to be a very bloody game.
Yeah. I expect a lot of kills. Uh, we saw how Chitin played game one with the Silas, and the Echo, I suspect, is going to be a very similar game plan. He did fall a bit behind in XP
Hmm.
uh, towards the mid to as late as the game went
Yep.
because of all the roaming, but the Echo is just as rewarding of a roaming play style as that Silas brought out. So
Oh
I'm
yeah.
expecting good things.
Oh yeah, I am very excited. I always get excited to see the Echo. It is a feast or famine champion, but when that Echo finds those flanks and pops off, oh, it is beautiful to watch. Poetry in motion. So we'll have to see if we can believe in Chitin for this one. Do you believe? Do you believe the Ibiza can clean this series up, or do Mercury actually have the advantage and can look to tie it and take it to game 3?
I think after that game one, I like Ibiza, but we're gonna see after a brief break to load in to this game. Don't go anywhere, folks. Welcome back, fans. Sorry about the delay. We had a bit of a pause in game, but now we are fighting in the river. Nocturne finds I praise God, and they are chasing him down. Protomorph wants in on this action too.
Yep, I praise God. Almost greeting for the ward. I would have respected it if they inted for it. Right? That's money right there, money in the pocket. But definitely smarter to to not die randomly for a ward.
Yeah.
Uh, as a support, I think inting for a ward is a fair trade, but I understand being a smart player is recommended in a lot of situations here. Right now, not a whole lot to really mention in terms of runes and masteries. We do see the exhaust on the Caitlyn with the ignite. Heal is still on Waka on that Lux pick. The electrocute is on the Kennen this game, and similar to Gnar, there are a few actually a lot of champions in top lane. Range top laners in general have a lot of different options for keystones they can look at. Going for the electrocute will allow for solid burst damage, but you do lose that utility you get with phase rush later in the game. It's a trade-off, and he's willing to take that to look for potentially being more aggressive in the lane. But against Jace, don't know how aggressive you can be.
Yeah, exactly. Jace is gonna do Jace things there.
Yeah, he is hitting level 2 beforehand, but not going for the all-in, respecting the minions there. Waves weren't exactly in his favor in terms of taking that trade. Waka getting quite a bit of poke, missing the binding, but that is not necessarily a bad thing. And honestly, I think that the Lux and the Karma match up really well into each other. It's a very I say it's skill intensive, and people who don't play support will be like support skill Keck W. But this is actually a matchup where both of the supports need to be on their A game, because the shields are all very short. The timer on those shields aren't exactly very long. That you need to actually use those abilities at the right time, and then they have to know their ranges to get the poke down that actually matters, make sure it sticks. For Dolo, a lot of it is going to be using movement speed to dodge away from Waka's attacks. And for Waka, it is going to be trying to predict the movement of Dolo to actually get any of this poke to stick. Because otherwise, they're just going to be able to heal up and stay alive and avoid the power here. We have
Up in the top. I praise God comes in with the ghost, gets knocked away by the hammer form, and first blood goes to the Udyr with the Phoenix burst.
Yeah, Jace not looking so hot in that exchange there, just getting caught, getting caught with his pants down like it's Arcane, ignoring his friendships for material, for personal gain, but just gets destroyed by that gank. The ghost goes through, and when you get dove on by the Udyr there, not a whole lot he was really able to realistically do to get out of that. He saves the flash though, so not. I guess, getting first blood, it's got to feel bad, but at least he didn't burn flash to die anyways, because I feel like he would have still died even if he had flashed.
Yeah, as soon as I praise God was visible, the damage was probably already done. Like maybe some miracle with the phase rush speed plus the knockback from hammer could have gotten him out, but most likely with how far up he was pushed, that was doomed.
Yeah, a little bit of doom, a little bit of gloom, but overall, I guess getting that first blood, good work from I Praise God and Kobita, will help even this lane out in the Kennen's favor. Chitin with the smooth
diving
moves.
in. Yeah, getting past the scatter the weak with the phase dive?
Yes.
Yeah, with the phase dive. Super clean.
Yeah, very clean movement from the Echo here. Also, that skin is very clean. One of my favorite Echo skins. Probably my favorite Echo skin. It is just so smooth. The movement, the auto attacks, they're very satisfying thunks from the sword there. It's a good feeling skin to play. We do have another potential gank. I Praise God hovering topside. Just going to clear out that vision and potentially look for a re-gank, as Protomorph does not have a ward for quite a while. that vision is going to be very lacking until he is able to potentially recall here. And for right now, after that gank, the CS lead in the top lane is very Kobita favored.
Yeah, I did not even see that 15 CS lead. That is sizable.
Yeah, it's a sizable lead, especially this early in the game. But, you know, we also still have not seen Kennen recall level 6. There's
Chase
a fight.
dives in, but Kennen's level 6 finally levels the slicing Maelstrom, but Protomorph flashes out to safety.
Yeah, maybe a little slow on the slicing Maelstrom. Could have popped that a little bit sooner, perhaps waiting for this.
Flashes in and goes for it. Jace gets stunned up. Kobita dodges into the bush.
One more.
They are... Oh, and the auto attack in cannon form from Protomorph gets the kill.
That's a little grief. Oh, that's a little grief. Okay, you got him. You got his flash. You got the trade you were looking for there. You should just like dust your hands off and say, okay, good stuff. I can get him after I back and get some items because I have a sizable gold lead. I can just beat him down with my wallet. And instead, you see his low HP bar, and your mind's telling you no, but your body tells you yes. So you go into flash. You don't get the stun because even if I don't even believe he crashed into him with the E, but did not have a passive proc ready. And as Kennen, if he had actually successfully gotten the burst from his W passive, maybe it would have been enough. But he did not get those stacks that he needed, and as a result, Protomorph is able to just kite back there, stay safe, switch to cannon form, and is actually longer range than Kennen, which I guess is a little surprising to me, but just manages to pull that one around. So good spacing from Protomorph, but maybe a bit greedy.
Okay, no follow-up.
Yeah, no follow-up there. Yeah, Lux is just fishing for these roots. A lot of Lux gameplay in the support role is just fishing for damage, maybe not necessarily looking for kills. We have a potential gank.
I praise God coming in top with Ghost as soon as Ghost came off of cooldown, and just like the first gank, the Phoenix proc pops the Jace.
Yeah, just burning him down with the fire of a Phoenix. But on the bot side of the map, we do see the Cloud Drake getting picked up by the side of NWE. Looks like Chitin is heading down the river, but will just back out there knowing, oh, we have a root.
Ooh, a nice root, and the final spark comes in. The feathers don't get the root onto Boogie.
Yeah, don't get the root, don't get the pullback damage, and ends up being a little bit lacking in the damage department. Still quite a bit of burst. Lux has not picked up any items aside from the boots. I'm actually curious to see what kind of Lux build we will get. Rushing the boots too. I really like this on mage supports. Getting that extra magic penetration early on in the game against other enchanters and AD carries, you're basically dealing true damage with just the M-Pen boots. Plus, you're also super fast, which will allow Waka to follow up on these roots and other spells with auto attacks. And that's just more damage on the table. It's very smart building from Waka down here in the support role. I am curious to see if they're going to go for an enchanter item or like, you know, the Moonstone or perhaps the Shirelias, or if we see a Luden's Echo on the Lux here. I do not think the gold is necessarily in favor of a Luden's, but, you know, I've seen greedier plays from supports.
I praise God runs into Kaler in top lane, but they do not want that fight.
No smoke. Yeah. Kaler that gets discovered, and I praise God's like, I'm good. I won't take this one. So yeah. Right now, the game, we thought this was going to be a very bloody game, but it's actually surprisingly slow. Both these teams just trying to wait for something to break here. And I guess that's another, you know, when we look at these team comps, we're like, oh, this is going to be explosive. But it also could be like this, where both of these teams are on the knife's edge, waiting for something to crack, waiting for the other team to make the first mistake and to take advantage of it. And I guess also we're in the Ghost cooldown waiting room for my praise God. You know, when that Ghost comes off cooldown, Jace has got to be starting to sweat a little bit. He's going to come back. But we do have a potential gank. I praise God waiting in the alcove.
Okay.
You
Got
know,
some alcove gaming. There's
yeah, alcove.
the ace in the hole coming through.
Yep, a little bit of poke. Maybe they have to know something's up here. I praise God. Going to walk in with the turtle stance.
Bear stance comes in. The flash root comes in from Waka, and Udyrs gets the assist, but wasn't super necessary. Waka with the clean catch.
Yeah, and the Lux laughing, one of the most tilting laughs in the game. Definitely want to be spamming that for maximum mental damage. We have Nocturne hovering around, but no gank will come as a result. Yeah, just really good play from Waka, to be honest there. Landing the root, landing the combo, and able to just secure that one for the team. Plus, you know, I praise God being up there is a good as well. We have Jace is starting to do quite a bit of damage.
The serrated Dirk with the long swords definitely hurts when Kobita's going for full AP. So he's a very squishy Kennen.
Yeah, I mean, there aren't really that many tanky options for the Kennen anyways. Like, if you go Zhonya's first, you're literally trolling. You need to stop, you know, get some help. It is, like, you in your mind, you think, oh, I can go invulnerable. That'll help my R. And yeah, it will later in the game. Right now, you
catches Kingo trying to get back to base, but the exhaust and the unleashed power come out.
Yeah, exhaust, flash, and oh,
diving in, the ignite comes down, the autos are coming out. There's the chrono break, and the ignite burns Kingo down anyways.
Yeah, the chrono breakdown from Chitin there, getting seeing the excellent opportunity, knowing that Kingo has already burned all the summoners in the previous attempt, and just knows I've got lethal, and they take it. Just very smart play from Chitin. And taking advantage of the power of the Echo going into the Syndra here, which is it's very nice to see. It's very reassuring to see that. It means that they know what they're doing on the champion. It's always good to know what you're doing on the champion. On the bot side of the map, we see this lane just ping-ponging back and forth. No real big advantages being obtained by either side. Kaler is hanging around, potentially looking for the Paranoia. Has not been able to find anything with that Paranoia this whole game. Still sitting on 0-0-0, and is also just behind in farm on the Udyr. I don't really know what Kaler's doing. They're just bleeding advantages everywhere, but they are starting the dragon.
There is all 5 from CBI here. And now there's the Paranoia finally coming out as Chitin dives in. The slicing Maelstrom comes out for the counter engage, and the double kill goes down. Hextech Drake too. And the teleport back top, so Protomorph isn't getting anything out of this.
Yeah, Kobita actually wandered down there, just walking that down. Really allows him to use TP to get back to this lane and not lose a whole lot in terms of, okay, well, never mind. Unless you miss the minions, in which case you do actually lose a lot. But overall, that was a really good response from CBI. They waited until they had the right opportunity to just dive in there. And Kaler did pop the Paranoia, but dove into somebody, but was already, like, they were pinned in the pit. Like, they had no way out. They did have flash. They could have flashed the wall instead of looking for an engage, but maybe they thought that they had more support from the team. But without the Jace, they were lacking in the damage that they needed to actually convert into anything. So it ends up being a Paranoia that looks incredibly grief. But overall, just really smart play from the side of CBI to turn that dragon into their own and pick up a couple kills.
Looks like we are about to get this Herald dropped in top lane as it was about to expire. So Kaler is going to get a little bit of gold.
Yeah, just a little bit of gold.
There's the ghost from I Praise God. Going in, the spell shield on the bear, slapping the fear tethers coming out. Jace jumps in with the hammer form. Kobita gets feared. Chitin shows up. The shield comes in. Diving forward, gets the Q. Syndra's joined the fight. Kingo's throwing out damage, but it's just not enough, and CBI gets another kill and gets out. Chitin did not hear me say get out and dives forward onto Kingo.
There is one direction, and it is forward. Although, actually was out of mana, so could have gone really badly if they were able to respond to Chitin's aggression there. But, you know, actually pretty good. Just another great play from the side of CBI. They get onto the Jace, and they just take him down. Once again, the Jace is falling so incredibly far behind. Soon enough, he's going to become a cannon minion if he's not able to actually start pressing the advantages of this champion. And that would be quite tragic. But, you know, we'll have to see what happens in terms of that. Jace still has some room to grow and become a real champion. I praise God.
Praise God comes in. The root gets on to Boogie, who goes down. The bear stun comes out. Dolo gets taken down. And that's the 4th kill for I Praise God.
Yeah, this guy is actually cracked on the Udyr. He's finding so many great opportunities, and he's able to work with his team so well to just take advantage of them. He doesn't even, it's like he's a range champion. I feel like he's throwing his gloves at them and stunning them. You know, he's able to get so much done on a champion like Udyr. It's very impressive, and it shows that he has great game sense to figure out where he needs to be on the map, where he can find these opportunities, and able to take them in a moment's notice, not faffing about, hitting wards, or clearing jungle camps. He sees an objective, and he goes for it.
Chitin's
Speaking
hunting,
of that,
gets the jump onto Boogie, and almost just completely one-shots him. The exhaust comes out, but the damage is way too high.
yeah, the damage is far too high from the Echo right now. This man is on a ward, but also quite just so far ahead right here. 3-0 with the Proto Belt. His damage is unbelievably strong, and he will be able to one-piece either the Syndra or the Caitlyn here in any of these fights. And the Caitlyn especially not being able to really justify buying the Merc Treads means that she has absolutely no magic resist, and she has no chance of survival if Echo gets onto her. It's going to really come down to playing with Dolo, or playing with Kingo, or playing with somebody else. You go out on your own as this Caitlyn, you are guaranteed to die. And Boogie, they've only just been dancing to their death in these games. They need to start looking to play with a team, and overall, just the entirety of Mercury needs to start playing together if they don't want to get picked off.
And it's... I'm trying to figure out, I'm trying to see the math of like how this comp plays from behind, and I don't know how this gets better for them.
It doesn't. Wait, unless...
Here's Kaylor diving on with the paranoia. The slicing maelstrom comes out. The flash from Kobita, and the tower shot takes down Protomorph.
Oh, no! That was tragic. I don't know what else to say. You got outplayed.
Now Chitin's diving on to Dolo. The damage comes out. The Ignite is on. The auto gets the kill, and the Chrono Break gets out. And then Boogie gets caught by Waka, and Adishan gets him with the Feather Storm. Right.
Yeah, the Feather Storm right there. And Zooey Mama. It's just, wow. The Ibiza is just playing so aggressive, and they're turning plays that they engage into kills. They're turning plays that the opponents engage into kills. They're giving no angles for Mercury to actually do anything in this series. And in this game in particular, this game looks so much less close than the previous one. We don't have the Volibear. We don't have the Hecarim. We don't even really have, you know, anything else. We have I Praise God.
I Praise God coming in once again. As soon as that ghost is off cooldown, the Tiger stance, just absolute
lethal tempo
murder.
Oh man, you're seeing Udyr just literally run people down, and we have Chitin.
Oh, here's Chitin, and I Praise God coming for Kingo, who flashes out after spell shielding the stun, and Chitin goes unstoppable.
Yeah, they're just finding picks. They're literally killing them one by one.
I Praise God dodges the Scatter the Weak. goes onto Dolo, but now it's in the middle of two, is not afraid at all as Boogie is the next one to get jumped on. The 4-level lead. Tower shot does deter I Praise God, but the shields coming in from Chitin are huge.
Oh yeah, Waka getting in range to drop that shield down, nearly saving I Praise God there. Just a little bit of a happy moment right there, happy accident as it were. Just right-clicking into the opponents when you're so far ahead. You're just trying to flex on them. I understand, you know, did end up going down as a result. So that is the shutdown going over to the, I believe the Syndra picked that one up. Not a bad champion to get the shutdown gold. It is, of the champions here, probably the best one to get it if you're to improve your chances of winning the game. So that's nice. You know, that's always nice to see. But yeah, you were talking about what is even the angle that they win this, and here's an angle.
Oh, the exhaust comes out. Chitin's in there, has to chrono break, and doesn't get the kill onto Kingo.
Yeah, finally not able to actually secure a kill here. We thought it was impossible, but, you know, the exhaust is just that good. But back on your point, assuming that the fights actually stop.
Dolo finds Chitin and is chasing them down while Kobita and Waka are trying to defend the Rift Herald at top. It's like bottom is...
Wow, they actually stopped the Herald there. Nice.
Wow, yeah.
Nice. That is certainly worth it. So now that it looks like we're actually going to get a little bit of slowdown here, although I'm guessing I Praise God is just going to murder Protomorph again because he's too far out.
The flash from Protomorph doesn't get him far enough. The Fear Tether comes in and I Praise God is fleeing. The Slicing Maelstrom comes out and Kobita gets his fourth.
Yeah. Interesting stuff, but pretty much expected there. Protomorph was just far out, and they didn't really have a whole lot of vision, and that is just prime target for the I Praise God. And it's what we've been seeing this whole game so far, is that the side of...
Going in, Chitin gets Boogie through the exhaust in mid.
Yeah, we're just seeing this over and over, where... Oh, come on, dude.
Scatter the Weak stuns up Chitin, but Kobita has the damage to finish it off. Gets the double kill onto Dolo.
Yeah, and now that there's nobody left to kill, we can finally talk about why this game is going so bad for Mercury. And it's the fact that they are not respecting the pick potential. Once again, just like the last game, where they kept getting picked by Enchanted Crystal Arrow plus CC combos. They are not respecting the pick potential of I Praise God, or Chitin, or even CB Waka just landing a full combo. They aren't respecting the damage coming out from this. They're playing solo. In this game, you are so far behind, you need to use the buddy system. Have another person with you. Sure, maybe that just gives over a double kill to whoever tries to jump in on you, but it increases your odds of not getting murdered. And we're gonna see Boogie disappear.
God, Boogie gets half his health deleted, but now it's 2 versus 4. And oh my god, Waka ends up killing Boogie anyways. Slicing Maelstrom comes out, Dolo's running for his life, Kobita goes into the Zonias, but does go down. The shutdown going to Syndra. Adishan takes out Kaler, and now Protomorph and...
God, this idiot!
Yeah.
Oh, the open D gates. That's all I gotta say about this one. Man, I Praise God. I don't know what religion they're here for, but I'm part of it. You know, I'm a believer now. Maybe they believe in Chitin too. That's they're one of the believers, right? But man, this guy's playing so well on the Udyr. He disengages there. That fight actually looks like it's going to go well for Mercury. They stick with the buddy system. They all play together, and they actually start getting things done. They get they get a couple kills, they get a couple picks, they reduce the health bars on the enemy team like they need to. And it's like, okay, maybe they have a chance in this fight. But I Praise God is just so far ahead, and Kobita literally went on the most magical journey I've ever seen to actually just get the flank there. And it goes,
Chitin's
it works
hunting Dolo, and Adishan gets the kill.
Yeah, yeah, that's just more people just dying, just walking out and dying. They have vision too. It's like, what do you do at this point? You're not safe. You're safe nowhere. Where do you go? Where is help? Where is help? There's nobody here to help you. It is just it's just it feels sad. It feels a little sad watching Mercury here because like now I'm not the smartest player. I'm trying to think of any possible angle that Mercury finds a way back into this fight. They have Jace damage. Jace actually deals quite a bit of damage. Oh my
Ooh.
god, that is just that is so much damage. But the Jace actually is dealing quite a bit of damage. He's got the Muramana complete. He has the Eclipse. If they can start finding picks with the Nocturne, with Jace, and with the Syndra, maybe they can start getting a slow bit of gold coming in. They're 11k gold down right now.
Ooh.
11,000 gold down. And
Oh,
Protomorph
I
just
praise
walks
God
forward.
gets the stun onto Protomorph.
You're not
The
in
blue
base,
smite
buddy.
slow is there, and yeah, the final spark comes in just to assist. I praise God. The stun comes in onto Dolo, and the Featherstorm does a massive amount. Udyr's diving the turret, the exhaust comes in, the paranoia comes in, the fear tether gets him under the other inhib turret, dodges the scatter of the weak, gets the stun, but Kaler gets the shutdown onto I praise God.
Yeah, they do get a shutdown off of I Praise God. That's not bad. That's, again, more money. They will take anything they can get at this point. They are now 12k gold down. And the walls are closing in. The towers are falling. The gates are falling, as they say. Although Udyr is not here to see them fall. And it is just... Man, it really is just going to come down to they need to start finding picks. They need to find something. They need to somehow wait for a miracle misplay from the side of Ibiza, because otherwise it is just going to be an open shut case here. The coroner is looking at the dead body here, and it's like, yep, they just all walked out one by one and died to Echo. That's what happened, officer. Great. Good work. Let's go to the coffee shop now. Uh, I don't know what else to say here. It's just so rough for Mercury to do anything.
I've had Nocturne games like this, and it feels so bad. That's a champ that before I even finish that thought, Dolo is getting hunted. Does actually get out. Doesn't get stunned.
Wait. Okay, never mind. I was thinking, wait, do we have a pick opportunity here? Has Chitin perhaps chewed off more than they can bite? No, it's all right.
Yeah, it's still Echo. Those 6 stacks on the Medjais aren't going anywhere.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere. Those Magi stacks are only going up. Stonks up.
And I suspect we're about to get... I mean, there's not that much more setup that CB has to do here for this dragon that's spawning in 40 seconds. Like, they've already got vision around there. They're going to clear out some on New World's defensive side of that jungle. But, Chitin gets stunned for a second, but yeah, just gets away from all 5 from Mercury.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's just I'm really struggling here. I'm so sorry to everyone in the chat. Just listening to the worst color commentary is like, how many times can I describe the reason they've died to just getting picked off? We have a flank. Kobita getting
Nice
discovered.
flank from Kobita and Chitin. I praise God runs at him face first, and the slicing maelstrom just melts through the team. Kingo goes down. Protomorph goes down. The paranoia comes out, tries to get onto Kobita, but isn't enough. And that is 5 for 0.
Yeah, that was an insanely good flank from Kobito. They do discover him. They see Kobito there, but they all stick together. They were caught in a choke point, and Kobito is able to get the flash in, gets the rocket belt, and just obliterates them with that slicing maelstrom. It was so strong. And now they're able to pick up 1 inhib, 2 inhib, the Baron, the Dragon Soul. There's nothing left on the map for Mercury to even think about as a win condition. There's nothing here for them. it's it's starting to feel like this is I would have FF'd like 10 minutes ago, but they're respecting the rules, right? They're respecting the game, and they're not gonna FF. They're gonna play it out, and once again, this is surely a closed game. There is like
Yeah.
the percentage of a percent that they just gets completely blundered. We see Waka literally drop the blitz ball and fail this game completely for the team. But I think it is just so the deficit's too high. It is now up to nearly 20,000. So I guess really the analysis here is, how has Ibiza not ended sooner? They've had this crushing lead for like 20 minutes now.
The Featherstorm flash, and Adishan gets the 1v2, taking out Kingo. The paranoia comes out, but Chitin just smacks him with a bag of gold. Boogie is trying to run away from I Praise God, but the slicing Maelstrom comes out, and even just a little corner of that, and the damage from Waka takes out Protomorph. Dolo's running for their life, but Chitin emotes at them for the kill. And CB sends a message to the rest of the league.
Yeah, sending a message that they are going to be the top dogs, and you're going to have to take us down if you want a chance to win, as they pick up Game 2 and the series over NWE Mercury.
And like, for a fight for first place between two really strong teams, this series didn't honestly look all that close.
No,
There were
it really
bits
didn't
and
look close at
pieces,
all.
but
Yeah, there were bits and pieces in the first game where we saw, okay, here's an angle where Protomorph pops off, where
yeah.
Kaler gets a really great engage. They had all those great tools, and then they just didn't use them. And then come into game 2, and ouch. You just get blasted, and it's
Yeah.
got to feel bad. And I think if you're on the side of Mercury, this game's gonna sting a bit, but you still have to recognize that you are at the top of the table right now. You're pretty safe. You're fine. This game sucked, but there's still more of the season to go. You still can bounce back from here. What you should be taking from this game is where you blundered, where you went wrong, and what you can do to pull it back in future series, what you can adapt with, where maybe you can start. I think the biggest issue that they ran into was they were not playing as a cohesive team.
Yeah.
They had these great team compositions, but then didn't play as a team. And that is one of the most important things to do, and it's something that is really hard to master, even in these constructed pre-made team environments. Because I actually do, I draft I do I draft I cast draft leagues, or I guess I cast and host for draft leagues. So I see these teams that are literally slapped together trying to play as a team, and Mercury looked less cohesive this game than a draft team. They need to, when they fall behind, they need to find a cohesive leadership. They need to figure out the game plan and pull it through. That is not to discredit, of course, CBI, who played incredibly well. They just tore it up across the board, everybody going crazy. And yes, that is excellent.
Yeah. Like, I'm trying to think of anything to say, but like, honestly, for CB, no notes. 10 out of 10 performance.
it's,
Like, keep doing it.
you get a gold star. Congratulations. You get the official Becky Rita Award of Excellence. For especially for the Sona gameplay.
Yeah.
Always admire the Sona gameplay.
But with that, we are going to call it a night here. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. It's been a great game. GG's to both teams. I hope to see everyone next week.